आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज।
A big hello to all our listeners. Welcome to an enriching podcast series, Vigyan Ki Awaaz. This podcast series focuses on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. Dear listeners, in this special episode of Vigyan Ki Awaaz, we have with us Jainsee Swami, with 27 years in Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council, TIFAC, New Delhi. Dear listeners, let's listen to Jainsee Swami. She has been proudly featured as one of the top 8 women administrators and policymakers in India 2022 by CII Compendium on Women in STEM Vanguards of India @75. A future thinker with expertise in technology foresight, visioning, roadmap development, practitioner in foresight techniques and methodologies, Jainsee Swami is a proud scientist F. Dear listeners, let's listen to Jainsee Swami. I think there's a lot to be done, and I think the future lies with a lot of science and innovations.
Yes.
And we need to bring our think tanks again and again so that we can bring the name of the nation globally very, very high.
See, one another message which I would like to convey is that the next 20 years will be the decade for us. The 20 decades, because we will have more than like 50% of people in the working age during that time compared to all other countries. So that's a dividend, demographic dividend which is of advantage to us. So that we need to encash. So skill the right, do the right skilling for our workforce, and then we can achieve.
So the next 20 years are nothing but science.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, material science.
Skilled, no, not only material science, skilled workforce.
Yes.
And also keep material science as an emphasis.
As an emphasis. So skilled workforce are our roadmap and our factors and components to work upon for the next 20 years. So the future is science bright.
Yep. Yes.
Ma'am, you have such a big journey in the field of science, and it is worth a lifetime. Those many years, I'm sure you have got a lot of stories to be very proud about. Why don't you share a few of the success stories of your journey?
Success story, if I say, will be in the beginning. I can tell about an incident where I had the opportunity to work closely with Dr. Abdul Kalam. Like when we were in our office in a meeting, he said that there is he knows that I'm a metallurgical engineer. So in one of our meetings, he said that there is a problem which we have along with our executive director, Dr. Y.S. Rajan. So when we were all together, they said that see, there is an issue which the silk weavers of Tamil Nadu are facing. They are not able to diagnose which is the real zari or the fake zari. You know what is meant by zari, right? For the silk sarees, there is the border.
Threads,
So it's basically silk. Zari means what? Zari is basically a silk thread.
Yes.
Which is wrapped with silver.
Okay.
And then dipped in gold.
Okay.
So that's how it works. So the thing is that they were trying to find out because many fake polyester zari came in market. So the original zari makers of Kanjipuram who weave with their hands, so their business was going for a toss. So these our leaders were posed with that issue, and then they said that okay, for a team of us, like, can you do something? So then I was in touch with the Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, IG Kalpakam. So we went with the scientists, we met there, how we can diagnose the purity of the zari without distracting it. The one way of distracting is that you just take out a thread and then burn it.
Okay.
Polyester means ऐसे burn हो जाएगा. If it is the original zari, then that silver thing remains, na?
Yes.
So, but does it distract? आप कितने बार साड़ी को तोड़ना जलाएंगे? So then we found out a method for which is called as non-destructive testing.
Okay.
We used an existing gold testing machine, and then we changed it. We customized it to accommodate a sari. Because non-destructive testing जो हमने school में पढ़ा है कि that's one way of finding out how much metal is there.
Yes.
Different metals का आप composition बता सकते हैं. So using that we solved that problem, and then a zari testing center was installed in Kanchipuram for testing at a very throwaway price for people. So आप एकदम साड़ी खरीदेंगे दुकान से, वहाँ जाएंगे, टेस्ट करेंगे, सर्टिफिकेट आ जाता है, हाँ ये authentic है 100%.
Wonderful.
So this is one example which I wanted to share.
I think it is a lifetime achievement working so closely with former president and Dr. Abdul Kalam sir is an institute, and I think when we just pronounce his name, we get a passion in our heart. So you could work so closely with sir. I think that's a big achievement.
Was blessing, in fact. Yeah.
Any other success story where you felt like that I was born to be a scientist? Good that I have worked in the field of science.
So those sort of occasions come up to us many times whenever we interact with different people, whenever we visit, especially when we go to villages and for any projects, when we go and explain to them things. I always felt that yes, it's really a blessing to be in such a profession, especially even when we release the Technology Vision 2035 document by our current Prime Minister Modi ji, only released it in 2016. So that was a very proud moment, no? When something which you conceived on your table, those things are already published and it is there outright there for consumption of be it public or different stakeholders. So it's always a success a feeling which you
I could see the twinkle in your eyes.
So yeah.
Ma'am, a message to all the females who would like to carve a niche in the field of science, and a message to all the female scientists who have actually contributed hugely, largely and stupendously. Much is to be still done, but then a message to all the female scientists and the budding scientists from the females.
Yes, actually, first my big salute and shout out to all the ladies, women scientists who are there in working, because it's very difficult and challenging to maintain a work and work and home. दोनों का balance, life balance is very difficult, and it is. It's actually, even though they say that no, there is no gender bias and stuff, it's all, everybody does the work or anything, but always there is a EQ जो होता है, emotional quotient थोड़ा ज़्यादा है हम लोगों को towards the family. Okay. So it's always, so you always keep on toggling between the priorities.
Yes.
So with that, but then still keeping a balance and trying to strive ahead in your professional career.
Yeah.
Needs a lot of energy. Actually, everybody is a superstar. I feel every woman scientist who is doing good is herself a superstar and an example. Which, and I'm by any means, I'm not demeaning the other male colleagues,
yeah.
but compared to them,
yes,
the responsibility of even grooming a family,
yeah,
at least 10% it is more for females, according to me. So definitely a shout out. And for the budding scientists, it's good that young people should come in science and do a lot more and achieve more. I would like to just add one more point to this, like specifically for women in STEM.
Yes.
I'd like to share one detail, is that the world average for women in STEM is around 30. Okay. But India, it is around 16.
Okay.
16.6% to be precise. So women in STEM still needs more important. We need to have emphasis. if you just see the data of PhD students, female students who are taking PhD has increased from 18 से लेके 20 तक percentage increase है ज़रूर. But the thing is that the number of the women who have become professors or in a powerful positions in different institutions, so that they are in a decision making position, that is very less. Like 40% of if you see PhDs in chemical engineering, women ka hai. But if you see the professors in different higher education institutions, it's only 9.2%.
Okay.
So वो वहाँ से it is not getting translated into actual work. So this we need to focus. Like this, there are different in different disciplines the number is quite less compared to the PhD ले लेते हैं. But वहाँ से professor जो lead professor या HOD उस position में women being in these STEM disciplines is less compared to significantly less compared to male. So this needs to be focused, because I feel that it's more for lack of support system नहीं है या lack of role models बोलते हैं या mentors. थोड़ा सा barriers to career advancement होता ही है. So these things, if it gets removed, I think definitely there won't be any stopping anywhere.
Great. But before we wrap up, your message to all the youngsters to take up science as a field of their career, and also how do you find the initiative of Vigyan Ki Awaaz? Science as a career is definitely for young children. It is a must. Till science is innovation and science is fun. You will learn a lot. Actually, science will actually make your minds open to think, and even you can go for different other disciplines. Science is a very broad field. So, but it will help you to think more and innovate and find a new you in yourself if you go and opt for science as a discipline. Vigyan Ki Awaaz मुझे तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. The concept of Vigyan Ki Awaaz, once when I heard from Ms. Barsha, it sound to be very exciting. It's a very noble and a very novel concept, and which needs to be continued. In fact, they should do more coverage. I already spoke to her to different, so that they spread out to more. I wish more and more people listen to this podcast and similar relays of your institution and your community radio. Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being a part of Vigyan Ki Awaaz, and I'm sure that with this promise that we will meet very soon and we will talk on more innovative and technology aspects in the field of science. We will meet again in Vigyan Ki Awaaz.
Sure.
Dear listeners, we spoke to a female scientist, a very, very passionate scientist, and we spoke to a lady, we spoke to someone who has contributed to the nation, someone who has worked so closely with our former President, Bharat Ratna, Dr. Abdul Kalam sir, which is in itself a lifetime achievement. It was indeed a great pleasure to speak to her, and thanks all to Vigyan Ki Awaaz. A big thanks to Department of Science and Technology, Media for Community, for have helped us in bringing this podcast series. We take a short break here again, and until and up to, we meet again with more science talks with you, more STEM talks with you. Please take care of yourself and be healthy. Thank you so much.
Vigyan Ki Awaaz, a podcast series to popularize STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine.
विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़.
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. Supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Salam Namaste Community Radio, Noida.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी